Welcome to the MS-Perspektive podcast, Perspective with a K as I'm German. I'm Nele van Horsten, MS patient, patient advocate and author. I'm bringing you interviews, inspiration and information about living with multiple sclerosis and show you ways how you can positively influence the disease and make the best out of your diagnosis. On ms-perspektive.com you will find the show notes, 11 free tips as a PDF and lots of other information. And now the show begins. Thanks for tuning in again and welcome to episode number 123. Living with MS and making a difference.
Thank you so much for having
Claudia's
me on
journey
the show.
of fundraising, resilience and hope.
To be able to speak
And now enjoy the
to a
interview.
global audience.
Hello, Claudia. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And hello again to South Africa. Yes, it's great. And actually, you are number 3 from the South Africa MS community. And it's really great to
So
get
my
a
name's
bit
Claudia.
deeper look into how it is
I've
to live with
been in South
MS
Africa
in
my whole
South Africa.
lived
But before we
here
actually start, it would be lovely
50s,
if you could introduce
just
yourself
about
to the audience so
and
they
then
know
after
who is with me on
studying,
the
traveled
podcast today.
abroad, all over the world, and ended up back in Cape Town in 2010 in time for the rugby, the soccer World Cup. And that was fun. And we've been diagnosed in 2011. And I live in Cape Town and have 2 cats. Married 2 years ago and basically spend my time swimming and cooking and being a happy housewife.
Okay. Ah, lovely, lovely. Yes, and I remember the World Cup with all the vuvuzelas. It was such a great
And
feeling that was coming over when you were sitting in front of the screen, and it was so great. It was such a beautiful soccer world championship. S-
Oh, okay. So I had only been in South Africa, back in South Africa, for about a year. And I was working for a project.
Absolutely, I can imagine. So you already said when you had the diagnosis, but what led to the
So I was
diagnosis?
very stressed and very tired. But I thought, okay, let me take the weekend to feel a bit better. I was feeling a bit out of sorts. My eyesight was a bit funny. But come Monday, nothing was better. So just thought I was stressed. Went to the doctor, to the general practitioner. They said, no, everything's fine. Going to send you for a second opinion to an ophthalmologist. Who tested my eyes. They said, your eyes are fine individually, but they're not talking to each other. I'm going to send you for a brain scan.
Mhm.
So obviously I had a little bit of a heart attack. I was like, what are they looking for? And the brain scan included a lumbar puncture, which is a spinal tap. And they said, we suspect multiple sclerosis. And because at that stage, they weren't diagnosing on first instant. They just sent me home with a sick note. So until my eyes never really completely cleared up. And then I went back to work. And then shortly afterwards, I had another relapse. And after that relapse, I was given the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. So that was almost 15 years ago. Hmm. You know what? I always categorically used to say no,
Okay.
nothing. That was the first thing. I
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
stressed and I was
And
tired.
looking back,
Wasn't
was there
particularly much.
any earlier signs you
then-
now associate with MS?
I gave it some more thought recently. And for my friend's 30th birthday, she went to paintball. I don't know if you know what paintball is. It's like war games, but with paint guns. And I was darted between the trees, taking cover, but my legs kept giving in. And I didn't understand, but I just carried on and rolled around on the ground looking very dramatic. And carried on like as if it was nothing. I don't know how soon or how long before diagnosis that occurred. I can't remember, but maybe there was a little bit of a glimmer because I battle with my legs now. So it was definitely like there's something going on, but I didn't pay attention.
Hmm.
No.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, it was not
Not
lasting long enough, I guess, or not dramatic enough.
it was
But sounds like it could be.
because
Um,
there's that
how
classic
did you experience the diagnosis emotionally, and how
that
did your
you
loved
don't get
ones
it
respond?
until you get it. So I didn't know what it was. And they said, "You have multiple sclerosis." Everybody around me was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I didn't know what it was. For me, it was just a nice little sick note that I could have. Didn't realize that it was a lifelong, potentially debilitating condition. Um, so yeah, all I remember the doctor saying to me, "Don't go onto Google." What did I do? I went onto Google. And I think, I know the the MS that was is not the
Mhm.
MS that it is now because of technology and
Of
how
course.
things are happening. And I'm listening to talks, and they're like, when you're diagnosed, your greatest fear is I'm going to end up in a wheelchair. And nowadays, I'd like to think not many people, if they get onto medication soon, end up in wheelchairs. Um, that is just something I heard. I don't know the stats, I don't know the facts, but I think, and I remember the doctor saying to me, "You got to get onto medication right now because the sooner you get onto medication, the better your prognosis is going to be." And that's what made me start medication. Mm. At the time, it's quite
Fantastic. And were you
multifaceted, this one,
offered
because at the time
different
there weren't
immunotherapies,
many.
disease-modifying treatments, or was he
So
suggesting,
I
or
think there
she,
was maybe one or
one?
two that could have gone on, and our medical aids rely well, they need you to go on a certain medication or you can go on to
Mhm.
another one, and if another one. So you have to jump through those hoops. So it was something called Betatheron. Yeah, it was just an at-home injection.
Mhm.
But I was on that for about maybe a couple of years.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because the drugs work until they don't work. And then I went on to
Mhm.
something that was like an oral medication that you took every day. So I love that because with the Betatheron, I had to inject myself, and that wasn't so nice. It didn't make me feel very well. Um, so there was
Mhm.
again on the oral medication for about 2 years, and then I went on to Tysabri. I was on Tysabri for about 4 years,
Yeah.
and then I tried the HSCT. Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, and it went terribly wrong. And yeah, it's
Mhm.
another story. And now I'm on Ocrevus, which is the 6-month
Yeah.
medication.
Stem cell therapy,
And I've been on that for
AHSCT.
about 2.5 years now. So
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a miracle drug, but
okay.
doctor seems happy. The MRIs are not showing any
Mhm.
progression. So yeah, Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm.
That's good. Yeah, B-cell depletion is one of the, most effective therapies that we have as of now. But may I just ask
Oh,
just one
no.
question on the AHSCT?
Yeah. Um,
So,
so
what went wrong?
it
Can you
was
maybe give us a
just didn't
short
wanna let
summary?
my
Because
life
so far I had nobody on the podcast
get
who had
worse.
a
I wanted to
horrible,
do this stem cell
um
therapy. And I know it was risky,
yeah.
and it isn't supported by the medical aid here, so it costs a lot of money. And I started the medication where you have 1 dose of chemo just to prepare your body. That 1 dose of
Mhm,
chemo was enough to make some opportunistic little germ get into my system and put me in hospital for a
mhm.
month, where I
Yeah.
had a roaring temperature, pneumonia, a brain bleed, a stroke. I was in a coma. Yeah, it wasn't, it was,
Whoa.
I was, yeah. You have to learn to walk all over again. You have to learn to feed yourself all over again. All my hair fell out. So yeah,
Whoa.
so I'm back to where I was
Whoa.
before the HSCT. Um, yeah, they always said to me that HSCT works for 95% of the population. Maybe 5% it doesn't. I was in that 5%. So
Mhm.
it was, I would never, I would never consider doing it again. Uh, yeah, it
Yeah,
was traumatizing. It was traumatizing for my parents to sit there and see
and
their
yeah.
daughter in a
May
state. One day I had 3 nurses come in
of course.
separately saying, "We thought you were gonna die." Thankfully, I didn't. My fiancé also felt very traumatized and helpless because you can't do anything. You're there in a hospital, they
Mhm,
linked up to all these tubes and beepings and sirens,
mhm.
and the doctors are just doing what they can. And when one thing was fixed, something else happened. So yeah, it was a bit of an ordeal. But now I'm going trying to I don't know if my now wife or my parents are a fan of this decision, but there's a drug trial starting with my neurologist, which is you're either on Ocrevus or on this new trial medication. And I'm keen to try it. Probably, yeah. 45. Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. The BTK inhibitors
Mm.
probably, huh? Yeah, and they, may I ask how old you are?
That's what he said. He said, because you know that
45, yeah, okay.
era,
Yeah,
that
and
program thing.
if you have, let's say, if you have
So he
progression
said,
independently of
with
relapses,
the
the BTK
Ocrevus,
inhibitors
you're on
seem to be a very,
the gold
good
standard.
one, yeah.
It's currently the marketed drug for progression independent of relapse activity. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I know that there are trials where they try to get the, Ocrevus into the over the brain, blood barrier into,
yeah.
um, the s the brain. Um, but with the normal one, it's not
He's
much. It's not a high
always doing
percentage.
the
With the
tests,
BTK
and
inhibitors, they
so
seem
far, like,
to cross that
my
barrier way
liver
more easily.
functions
You just have
fine,
to
my thyroid
be
function.
careful that, let's say,
So he does, it's
all your
quite
body,
good.
I
Just
think it's the
that's what
liver
helps
where there might be side
having a
effects, so you
very
have to have a good liver, I think.
knowledgeable and trustworthy neurologist. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. This trial is under his guidance, so I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's gonna be okay. Hmm.
Yeah, Great.
Ah.
Okay, that's good. Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. If I would be in your position, I would do that. I would do that. I have a very mild form, but yeah, the BTK
Yeah.
inhibitors sound very interesting. Absolutely. So, but just summarizing it for the audience.
Sure.
So when they were trying
It happened in
in brackets,
2022.
only
So
harvesting your stem
42
cells,
cells
that happened to you, right?
that happened.
So the first step. It's the first step.
Yeah,
And you
I'm
were
not a
how old
huge person,
by then, and how healthy?
so I was quite small. But other than that, the doctor seemed confident. He said it's very routine. We do it all the time. Because I went
Okay.
to a
Yeah.
hematologist who was like the go-to guy in the Western Cape to do it. But it just didn't work. And he couldn't give me a reason why. Um, I just don't know if it's because I have red hair.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
Mm,
Probably not. Your red hair is beautiful, so probably not due to
yeah,
that. Um, but yes, I think it is important to actually realize that this is quite an intense
yeah,
therapy, and people should only give it a try if they are in the stage where it's needed to do such an aggressive
yeah.
therapy. And then if you have a very aggressive MS, it's probably worthwhile thinking about it, but not if you have a moderate one, which you can kind of fix with established medications. And
Yes,
that's what doctors on the podcast
it can happen.
told already a couple of
I
times
can
here.
say is that I'm
You have to
glad
think about it. It's an
I
aggressive treatment. It's good
was
that it's
in the
there,
Western Cape when I
but
had
as
it
we
done,
see
because some people
with you as an
travel
example,
to
it can go
India
wrong.
to have
It
it
can
done.
go
Some people
horribly
travel to
wrong.
Russia and Mexico.
Happens not often, but it can, and
Yeah, so
it can
I'm
happen.
glad I was here because if I was in some foreign country with
Mhm.
no family around me, it would have been 10 million times worse.
Yeah, Russia and Mexico is popular in Germany. Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly. Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, and you don't know how much the emotionally part brought you over the dangerous status. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a different thing if your loved ones are on your side when you have such experiences. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you look so healthy and yeah, in a good shape. But thank you for sharing your story on that.
supplementary.
Um,
So
okay, coming back
you mean like
to the normal questionnaire. um, are you using any symptomatic treatments? And if so, which ones?
I understand the question now, sorry. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
so
like
I take my
medications
daily, like,
or
I take
ergotherapy or
Polar, which is kind of
physiotherapy,
like
stuff where
a
you take care of your symptoms you
medication.
might have due to
Don't know if you have
MS.
something similar. I take a medication for mild depression, which I've taken from the day dot. I take that. Also take something to help with my
Mhm,
weak bladder, so that helps. Um, the best treatment I've ever had, and I had it
mhm,
last year and the year before, was seeing a biokinetist. She was just incredible, just focused on, okay, where are the weaknesses? Let's do some strength exercises. So it's all those physical, gentle, strengthening exercises that made such a difference.
mhm,
And because I had to pay out of pocket for it, obviously I can't continue with it because it gets a bit pricey after a while. But I can do the exercises at home. I stretch as much as I can. Like I said, make sure I get in the water. Being in the water, there's so much therapy I get from being in the water because I do wild swimming. So swimming in the ocean, so much almost gratitude that you can be in that space. And when you're swimming up and down, all you can do is count to 4 and you can't think of anything else. except what's happening right now. Don't worry about what's happening before, after. You just have to think about right now. And I enjoy that. And when you're underwater, very quiet, no noise. Enjoy that as well. So other than swimming, I just look after myself, having my daily naps, which I've always had, which have always been. It sounds very luxurious, but it's almost essential, because if I don't have them, I'm an absolute wreck by the end of the day. It's almost like a little battery recharge. You say, okay, you've had a nap, continue with your day. Almost like the Spanish siesta. That's what I have. Yeah. I'm a huge advocate for it. I feel like the rest of the world should be doing it. Yeah.
Sounds yeah. And lots of people are doing that, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. Yeah, maybe then people would be more relaxed and lovely. But yeah, as you mentioned, exercise. It's so important, and everybody should find the way of exercise he or she likes.
Absolutely. I mean, they
Because
always
it's not
ask,
the one and
what's the
only
best
for everybody, but I
best
think
one?
everybody
The
likes something different, and sticking to it.
best exercise.
Maybe not overdoing it, but doing it
And the best
regularly is
exercise is the
something we can
exercise
really all
you
do
like.
for our body, and it
Because
helps
as
a
long as
lot.
you like it, you'll keep doing it. If you don't like it, you won't do it. So, and that goes for many things, but whether you do yoga, whether you do Pilates, some people can run. If you can run, go for it. If you can't and you can swim, do that. So whatever works for you, just do that. Mm.
Absolutely. And if you, dear listener, want to have a deeper look into that, please listen to the episode with Ulrich Dalgas, and there are a couple more of them, where we talk about the scientific evidence of exercise. And of course, they were doing it on certain sports things, but he also says, whatever you like, and you keep sticking to it, just do that. Doesn't matter if there is evidence-based medicine on that. If you like it, it's good for you.
I used to do lots of sport.
Yeah.
That classic A-type personality where you have to just go, go, go,
So
go, go, go.
how have you adapted your lifestyle to
MS
manage
really made me slow
life
down.
with MS?
And I had to. It's almost like nothing was going to make me slow down, except a diagnosis of something like MS. And so instead of focusing on the things I can't do, I focus on the things I can do. So mindset is everything. So it took me a while to learn that, though. So it wasn't something I just woke up one day and went, oh, okay. It's taken years. Sometimes I still have a little moment where I'm like, oh, I wish I could still do that, but I shake it off and focus on the things I can do. I think that I used to be fiercely independent. Like I say, A-type personality.
Very smart choice.
Always had an attitude of.
What has been the most difficult point in your MS journey, and how did you move forward?
But I think I had to learn to surrender. I need to learn to say and ask for help. That was a big lesson I had to learn, because it's a condition where you can't do it on your own. You can't. You have to ask for help. And whether that's someone holding your hand while you cross the road, to drive in the car because you can't drive anymore, or whatever. But yeah, that was a big thing for me. No, that was the biggest. was surrendering, asking for help, and letting someone else be in charge and trusting them. Yeah. Yeah, it was a long journey. I think the goalposts of MS change.
Yeah. Okay. And
So
you probably did it like, yeah,
let's say like I
one
swim
small step
and
after the other.
happily some 2 kilometers the one week, but then the next week I can't. And it's just learning to listen to your body. And it's difficult. It's difficult because your mind tells you you shouldn't and you can, but you almost have to let your body speak for you. I think that was a big thing for me. Was trying to find the balance and be kind. Yeah. You know what? Today is a good day. Today I walked the dog. I only walk the dog when I'm feeling
Yeah.
good.
Totally understand.
And it's cooler today because heat is not
How are you doing today, physically,
of
emotionally, and mentally?
So when it's cooler, I feel better. So I felt like I could walk the dog. So that was nice. I also started something called Paint by Numbers. So feeling very relaxed, put the TV on, put the heater on, and just sit and relax. So I'm feeling strong today, actually. It's quite nice. Not stressed. Stress is not my friend. So if I can be relaxed and just enjoy the moment. That's what I'm doing today. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. It's too cold to jump in the pool today, so I'm not going to do that. Oh, it's a Jack Russell. It's a Jack. Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's more of a sniff than a walk.
How big is the dog, by the way? A Jack Russell. Okay, but they have lots of energy, so still you need to be in a good shape to walk the dog, huh?
No.
They are always
This
like,
dog is a
"Woo!"
rescue.
No?
It's quite a gentle little 5-year-old dog.
Okay.
Quite timid.
It's an older one? I just know the very high energetic and
it's perfect for
I have to go there everywhere.
It doesn't
I have to
want
climb
to
mountains.
run. It doesn't want to pull me along with it. So that she's actually very
Okay.
good for walking. She takes it nice and slow because I always walk with a stick. So my walking is very slow. So if the dog's walking slow, it's a match made in heaven. Mm.
Mhm.
I came from a background
Fantastic.
of events
Okay.
and being involved and
Claudia,
raising money
you
for other
organize
people,
events like
and
Quiz4MS
I
and
think it was just a
Swim4MS.
natural
What sparked your
progression.
passion for fundraising?
Do something with passion. So I only feel like you should raise money doing something you enjoy. You should only do something that brings you joy. So it was just an organic transition to move. And I love doing the quiz. I love it. I love watching people have fun and giggling because my quiz is it's not a boring one. Like, what is the fifth line in the Shakespearean sonnet? It's not one of those. It's a bit more like, what's faster? The house cat or the house fly? It's one of those, like, I don't know. It's a bit like a silly quiz, but it's fun. So it's all about having fun. And the Swim4MS, again, people get together, challenge themselves, but they have a laugh. And there's camaraderie and people had a good time. And that's very important to me when people take part in something. Because if you don't have a good time, what's the point? So the Swim4MS, it's if you're gonna have the event, why not have the event and raise money while you're doing it? I always feel like, while you're doing that, you're gonna do it anyway. and everybody knows someone with MS, why don't you, people will happily give, say, 100 Rand, which is, what do you work in euros? Let's say it's 10 euros? No,
Mhm.
5 euros. Yeah. So come along, throw 5 euros in the pot and have a nice swim. It's like, it's a no-brainer for me. You're having a dinner party. Why
Mhm.
don't you make it a fundraiser as well? So it's just like thinking a little bit further than yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Fantastic. And that raises awareness. And I know my husband
Yeah.
was living for 2.5 years in Oxford, and there
Very
was the
popular.
pub quiz very
So
popular, and he always loved it. And when he talks about it, he's smiling,
it's
and it was
about
so much
going from
fun. I
one
never
end.
experienced that, unfortunately. It was not
And
popular in Chicago or
yeah,
so,
I did it for
but it sounds
about
like lots of fun. Yes.
years.
So.
And you get people that come and they follow you around, and it's good. And you can see people being like, and when they keep coming back because they're like,
Mhm.
we really love coming to this one, makes you feel so warm inside and that you've done the job well. Hmm, a most meaningful. Whew, I can find
Mhm.
something meaningful for all of them actually.
Great.
If I
What has been
think
your most meaningful
overall,
campaign moment so far?
it's what I said. It's seeing people have a good time, laughing, friendship, friends, family, getting together, that community feeling. It's a community feeling. I think that's it. Bringing people together. I mean, I think, especially in South Africa, we're so spread out geographically, economically. If you can find a common ground that
Mhm.
brings people together,
Mhm.
that's what I love. That's what I love. So we just did the May 50K. And the May 50K, South Africa was invited, Germany takes part, Netherlands, Ireland, England, a number of other countries, but I can't name them right now.
Mhm.
Um, it's so nice to be involved in a global platform and for South Africa to have a little bit of a say instead of being thrown in the scraps like we normally are. Um, and from a local's perspective, it brought us together like I've never seen. It was incredible. It was incredible. People from all over South Africa got involved, did what they could do. It was the most successful campaign we've ever had. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's really great. I have to take part
Yeah,
next year. This time it was too much with the little kids and everything. But yes, I really love to see that challenge raising and growing and spreading out all
same
over
with
the world
the
and
geographical and
raising awareness and
economical
money for more research.
that's in South
It's
Africa.
really great. So,
That's a
what
big
are the
challenge
biggest
because
challenges when organizing
it takes
fundraising
someone
activities for MS in South Africa?
to host the campaign, and then the campaign generally happens locally. So
Mhm.
say if I bring up a campaign, I live in the Western Cape, so I attract people close to me. What about the rest of the country? So it's about how do we get the whole country involved? And that's what the May 50K did. It brought everybody together. I think economically as well,
Mhm.
when we have something online, we worry that, okay, are the people going to be able to access the internet? Are they going to be able to afford to access the internet? So that's always a big thing. Um, but we do what we can. We do the best we can with the challenges we have. because we don't have any government support. So money, like if we had endless pots of money, we could travel and have a little bit of a road show, but we don't.
Mhm.
So we do the best with what we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. How do these events help bring awareness and community together
think
beyond raising funds?
Definitely
As I mean,
in
MS is
Africa, it's
not
not
that pop.
front of
I mean,
mind
popular meaning
condition.
not so many people are
Are
aware of
associated
MS
Africa
because
with
it's not such
AIDS and
a
malaria and cancer's got a lot of
often
money, and there's lots of
happening
cancer events.
disease, right?
So MS, like I said earlier, everybody knows someone with MS. So it isn't spoken about. So the awareness is whenever we have events, people come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, my aunt has MS or my sister has MS," but they'll never tell you that unless you wave a flag. Or when I go for a walk and I have to walk with a cane. These little children, they ask me, they'll be like, "Are you old?" I'm like, "No, I have to walk with the cane." And then we start the conversation. Then the parent will come in because small children have a attention span of 2 seconds, and then they've done something else. And the parent comes over, and then they're a little bit more interested. So just visibility. Visibility is a big one. Yeah, I think just not make. How can I explain this? It's helping people understand that not all disabilities are visible. So, no, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I'm disabled. And they go, "But you don't look sick." No, but no, one of those, yeah, there's classic lists of things that MS people hear all the time. And we're not helped by the myths
Yeah.
around
So very common one.
MS and how not clued up the government society services are. So they don't know. They're like, "But why are you getting a disabled stick for your car? You're fine. You're not in a wheelchair." So it's just a lack of understanding. I don't know if the rest of the world is like this, but if you like that, yeah. So yeah, it's about bringing awareness, and I mean, Non and the MS Society are doing a lot of work to bring South Africa forward into the global spotlight, and it's amazing. I don't think the people here with MS realize how much work she does in helping South Africa be a platform to the rest of Africa and bringing MS to the rest of the world. Yeah. Something that brings a lot of awareness is wearing. It sounds very stupid, but wearing something that's eye-catching. And okay, the color for MS here is bright orange. And bright orange, that goes with nothing that you wear. So when you're wearing a bright orange scarf or jersey, people are always going to see it. And especially if you have a slogan, they'll be like, "Oh," like I have one that says, "I'm not drunk, I have MS," because it happens a lot. You're walking home, and they're like, "Oh, well, time to call a taxi." No. So it's all about wearing things that bring conversations, start conversations. And I spoke to someone recently.
Yeah.
She has the most incredible company. She provides a platform where people can ask questions to sufferers or victims that might be socially awkward. So, for example, say someone is in a wheelchair. Someone can go up to them and be like, "What's it like being in a wheelchair? How do you cope with going to the bathroom?" These kind of questions that you can't just go up to someone and ask them about. But she runs this company where that is the basis of the company. To have these conversations to better understand. I think it's the most incredible thing.
Yeah, that sounds very good because, yeah, I mean, kids have these questions and grown-ups as well. Grown-ups would never ask them. Kids might ask them, and maybe sometimes people would answer them, even when you meet them down the street. But yeah. That's really good. Sounds like a very smart idea. And of course, we have in Germany the same issues with. But you don't look sick. And Aaron Boster from the US, who is having a very popular YouTube channel, I had him on the interview as well. He had that one. Probably he's mentioning it quite often in his videos. But yeah, he let that question. But you don't look sick, honey.
Like I've said before. You rest.
Happens.
So you got to keep walking.
Often,
you got to
especially for us with all these invisible symptoms.
Being stagnant.
You've said motion is lotion. What does it mean for you in daily life?
Is going to make you feel worse. It's not good for your physical health. It's not good for your mental health. So don't exercise excessively, but do something every day. And whether it's jumping in the pool, whether it's stretching in the morning, whether it's moving around the kitchen and doing the washing up, just move around. Just keep moving, because you'll miss it when it's gone. Not saying it's gonna go, but yeah, motion is lotion means just keep moving. Just keep moving. When I say holistically, I mean it's got to be like you've got to look at a person with MS.
How do you personally define a holistic approach to MS, and what elements are part of your personal strategy?
Put the person in the middle, and then there's little factors around them. So one of the factors is body, which is spoken about. Exercise, massage, lotion, keep moving. Mind, so do something for the mind, something relaxes, something you can focus on, crosswords, brain health, all that kind of stuff. Spirit, whatever brings you joy, brings you strength, whether you could be religious, you could be out in the ocean on a surfboard, walk in the forest, whatever brings you joy, brings you strength. And then for me, I think it's a very huge factor and multifaceted is your support network. So you've got to get the support, your friends, find your friends that are going to support you, the family, help them understand, the doctors, find a doctor that's good. What else could be in this network? Your therapists, your physios, your biokinetics, all those people that are going to help you on this journey that is probably going to be for the rest of your life. So it is about the whole package. When I was first diagnosed, together with John
3D on MS. What tips do you have for others living with MS who might feel stuck, isolated, or discouraged?
I don't know why he said that, because I don't believe it for a second. I feel like find a society. Sometimes when you're diagnosed, you can feel very alone. very isolated. No one understands. The society is full of people that have been where you've been, that are full of people with helpful hints and tricks. It has information, support, and knowledge. Any question you have. And the boards are normally manned by, there might be doctors on there, there could be lawyers, there could be all sorts on there that are going to assist you. So first and foremost, find a society. And I think every country has a society. Even those countries that are with a grand population of MS diagnosis of 400 have a society. So you're not alone. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, and go check the msif.org website
Yeah.
to find the one maybe in your country if you have problems finding it, because they have listed it by continents and by countries. That's very helpful, I think. But I guess normally Google or using AI will help you finding it.
Huge for
So, what's your advice for dealing with healthcare systems and medical aid
don't know.
frustrations? I don't have them in Germany that much because we have
What
a
I would
different
say,
system. But you in South Africa have
broker.
lots of
I don't know if you know what a broker
yeah,
is.
issues
Broker
with
is someone
that.
that gives financial advice, that knows the system. It's difficult to try and navigate it by yourself because a lot of the time medical aids have benefits that you're not aware of, and they're not going to tell you unless you ask about it.
Mhm.
These brokers, financial assistants, advisors are going to know how to help you. Medical aids, it's tricky. It's tricky. The medication for MS is expensive. And the government healthcare system has not the latest and greatest care, if any. They normally don't have, say, something to treat a symptom except, I don't know if you have Panado. Panado is just an aspirin. Just to send you home in the aspirin. You can't see properly and they send you home in the aspirin. So they don't have the right things. But they can't afford, people with MS sometimes can't afford private healthcare. So if you can afford the private healthcare, there's no government support. You have to have private healthcare in order to have access to the latest and greatest drugs. It is a bit of a minefield negotiating. You've got to get the neurologist on your side because they know how to write things to the medical aids to get the support you need. So it is a bit of a juggling match on how to tackle the medical aids. You have to get the doctor on your side. You have to get the broker on your side. You have to get the drug company on your side. You have to know what the right words to say, and a good neurologist will know what to say. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Because I think it would help also people in other countries who have the same issues, because there's only a few ones, I think, where you get the medication, all of them, due to the healthcare system, but most of the world
it's a
is
no-brainer.
not that way. It's more like South
Everybody
Africa.
wants a cure.
So thank you for that
Everybody
one.
wants a cure. Yeah,
Looking
it should be
ahead,
like,
what's your biggest hope or
it's gotta be
goal
that.
personally or for the MS community?
Long-term cure, whatever that takes, whatever that means. We promised to cure for a long time. We're still just waiting. And it always say we're knocking loudly on the door, but we're still waiting. So who knows? Hopefully I'm not too far gone when that cure comes to fruition. Personally, it's almost like you said earlier, day by day. It's difficult to make long-term goals because you don't know what. When I was diagnosed, the doctor said to me, "We can't give a prognosis. We don't know what's going to happen." So I don't know what's going to happen. I thought by this stage, when I was diagnosed, by this stage I would have been in a wheelchair, but I'm not. So you don't know. I'd like to keep swimming for as long as I can because that's my happy place. And the swimming community is very supportive, very understanding, and I move a lot better in water than I do on land, like a seal. Like they kind of glove on the land, and then they're like swimming around without a care in the world in the water. I feel a little bit like that. So I want to keep swimming for as long as I can. I'd love to travel, but travel's getting harder and more expensive. So, I'd love to keep traveling locally. But I think that will also go together with the long-term goal is to improve accessibility for disability. I don't know what the other countries are like, but I know accessibility in this country is not very good. Awareness for disability is not very good. So short-term goals, day by day. That's how short it is. But yeah, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mark Webb is doing a lot on inclusion. He's from the UK. I don't know if you know him. He's on LinkedIn very active and a little bit on Instagram. And he is sitting in a wheelchair since a longer time. And he's fighting a lot for inclusion and doing that kind of globally. Of course, most of his followers probably are from the UK, but he's always putting the finger on the thing that most people at one point will have disabilities, and you can make a lot of money. I mean, it's stupid not to look for the people with disabilities and better include them. I think that's a very valid point.
It's normally because of a shock.
And of course, being lovely would be another one. But even if you just want to make money.
Sorry, my phone's going. Sorry, it's just alarm. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's life.
But locally.
That's life. Is there any development you would like to see in the field of MS in the next 5 years? So something nearer, not the cure. The cures probably will take longer than 5 years.
I think I'm just
locally,
thinking.
globally, whatever. So something that's near to catch.
I think for South Africa, for to demystify the myth that Black people don't get MS. That's a big one. That's a big one here. Because there's a stigma around maybe Black people that have symptoms. They're generally shunned or told something that's not true. And maybe, people in Africa have MS. People that have never been out of South Africa have MS. So that whole thing about a lack of vitamin D or lack of sunshine can't be the case. It can't be. It's maybe a factor, but what else is a factor? It must be something else. So that's a big one. Also improving.
Can't be the case for. No.
So access. People having access to neurologists, getting the diagnosis, because there's people walking around not being diagnosed all over South Africa. Because they don't see the right people. They don't see the right doctors. They don't understand. There isn't enough visibility and awareness. Because it's not a quick thing. Some people takes them years to get diagnosed. I was one of the lucky ones, and I was diagnosed relatively quickly. Some people take 10 years before they get the diagnosis, 10 years of frustration. So a better. It's not like we can drive around with a van and have you screened for MS, like they do with other conditions. But bringing it to the forefront and saying, do you struggle with this? Has this happened to you? Maybe you should go get it checked out. I don't know if it's what it's like globally, but definitely locally. Oh. Yes. Yes.
That is a global one, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably know Susanne Melanie Schmidt. I had her on the podcast. She is known to none. She's living in Germany. And when she got diagnosed, she probably had more than 10 years of MS, and she's living in Germany. But none of the doctors where she talked about certain symptoms was diving deeper into the reason why she had these problems. So this is still happening in Germany. And of course, let's say the poorer the country is, the more it is a problem, I guess. And the less awareness there is for MS, the more of a problem it is. So this is a global one, for sure. Okay, so coming to the quickfire Q&A session, what's your mantra or in life?
So I'll say, for me, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Okay.
So
maximum 3.
be kind to yourself. But if you don't feel like, I remember when I was first diagnosed, I was like, oh, I'm going to try this diet. And this diet eliminated all these things. Or like, you couldn't have gluten, you couldn't have dairy, you couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. So when I went out with friends for dinner, I felt like a social leper. I couldn't have it again. So it was almost counterproductive. I was trying to do it to be healthy, but I was causing myself so much stress. So what's the point? So have that glass of wine, have that piece of cake, be good to yourself. That's what I feel. Everything in moderation, including moderation. I think also, obviously, got motionless lotion, you to rest. Okay, next one. What decision? I think the decision, come back to South Africa.
Okay. Looking back, what decision in your life made the biggest difference?
I was diagnosed here. Just because my family's here, this is ultimately where I want to be. It was a good place for me to be. I wasn't abroad. I wasn't surrounded by what I don't know. I wasn't in a health system that I wasn't used to. I wasn't a foreigner in a strange land. I felt like I was in the right place. Here we go. I do. Yeah.
I'm an alien. I'm a little alien.
For me, MS.
I'm a South African woman in New York, or wherever you were.
From where comes a blessing in disguise.
Okay. Complete the sentence. For me, MS is?
It's not a good thing, but it somehow has brought out the best in me. Somehow. It's made me slow down, appreciate things that I didn't used to appreciate. I was once accused of being too ambitious. So I was rushing and I was pushing people aside and I was stressing myself out. And MS has slowed me down, which is nice, and made me focus on life is short. Do what makes you happy. Do what brings you joy. Surround yourself with the things that are important. Don't waste your time on people that don't add to your well-being. You can quickly see what they say. So some friends are few when times are dark, or whatever the saying is. But so being diagnosed is difficult. And some friends stayed, most friends stayed, and some don't. Which is fine. And you have to be okay with that. And it helped me develop my authentic self. For all our American listeners out there, my authentic self. So yeah, that's what I think MS is.
Is there any book, podcast, or website you'd recommend?
I was going to say, you know what? MS, it kind of consumes my life a bit.
Doesn't have to be on MS, can be just something that makes you happy, think about things, whatever.
They generally are. I love a true crime podcast. Listen to a lot of true crime. I hate a self-help book. I hate it. But that's just because I don't need or want someone to tell me what to do. I don't want I feel like I'm okay by myself. I know what I need to do. So I don't tend to do that. I recently read a book. Those Jodi Picoult books I really enjoy. Jodi Picoult tends to take characters within a book and gives each one its own voice, which I love. It makes it a little bit more interesting to read. Yeah, sometimes 3 or 4. So there'll be a story, but it's written from the perspective of the mom, perspective of the sister, perspective of the boyfriend, perspective of the doctor.
So you change the perspectives. You have like 2 perspectives. Do I get that right?
Different perspectives, which I like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's like T.C. Boyle. I like the books of T.C. Boyle, or at least some of them. I haven't read so many, but very interesting. Yes, because the psychology part is so interesting of how people interact, what they think about each other, how they what they sometimes make up in their minds, which is maybe not true for the other person because you see all these different looks. Very interesting. Yeah.
So just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's the right opinion. It allows you to listen to what other people have to say. And I like that. And I think that I like the books. Yeah. And an educated person will listen to other opinions and form an opinion based on it. I think so.
Your opinion is just an opinion. It's not the truth.
I think that's very similar to
if you could go back in time, Claudia, what would you tell your newly diagnosed self?
Don't try to do everything yourself. Being diagnosed is not a sprint. It's not a sprint to get better, because you're not gonna. It's a marathon. So day by day, look after yourself the best you can. Don't feel obligated to be the best person you can be all the time. Listen to your body. Listen to your energy levels. And it would be that. It would be like, slow down. This is a marathon. You're not in a race. Take it easy. I know. A final message.
Is there any final message for others living with MS besides the one you just mentioned?
All those. No, this is a global message, actually. Next year, in May, we have a big fundraising awareness project called the May 50K. It's happening all over the world, and we'd love you to take part and challenge yourself. We are developing it, but keep your ears tuned and your eyes peeled for all the excitement that is to come for the May 50K in 2026. That's true, actually.
Yes. And no matter when you listen to that podcast, it may be the May 2027 or 2028, because I think it will happen in the future and keep on going. Because with podcasts, you never know when people are listening to it, you know?
Which is Multiple Sclerosis South Africa.
So where can people follow your journey or support the MSSA?
And then our social platforms, a lot on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I think those are the main platforms you're on. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. And I will put all of them in the show notes in the blog article. And one more thing, I forgot that, but it popped up when you were talking about the bias of Black people are not having MS. There was an interview with Natalie Busari. I probably mixed the first names. She's living in the UK, but she is taking care. She is a Black woman, and she has lots of information for people in African countries. And if people are not seeing lots of them as of now, I think she is bringing up voices from people all over in Africa. And there are lots of people in Nigeria, in Ghana, and probably in South Africa. So if you want to look into that, I will link that one in the show notes as well. Natalie Diana Busari. I will link it in the show notes. She is living in the UK, but she tries to give people a voice, tries to strengthen their self-esteem, to step up, to say, hey, I have MS and I want support, and where can I get support? And try to work on that bias and try to get more people into clinical trials, for example, who
absolutely. And South Africa is such a
of African heritage, and
so I mean, we're
Black people, obviously. Because there's also a bias in clinical trials, and there are not enough answers for people sometimes. So
yeah, we got the Black people there, so it's very varied, and they all need a voice.
Yeah. Yes. And I will put the interview with the one, who is living in the UK, but I don't know if she was born in UK. For sure, her parents are from India. So I had at least a little bit of a mixture on my podcast, and I hope to increase that even more and more. And if you, dear listener out there, want to be on my podcast and talk about your experiences in your country, please do so and write me an email.
Oh, Nele, it was an absolute
Claudia, it was a pleasure.
And,
Thank you very
I hope
much.
something good came out of this.
And of
And
course,
on
enjoy swimming, enjoy the walks
On the
with
big wide
your
podcast walk.
dog, and it was a pleasure. Thank you
Thank you.
very, very
Bye.
much. Bye-bye. Bye, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the interview, learned something new, and maybe even got inspired to do your own MS Quiz, MS Swim, or maybe MS Run or something else to raise awareness and raise money so people can be supported and research can be funded. And as always, please recommend the podcast to other people who might be interested in the topic and rate it wherever you are listening to it. And of course, please stay as positive and healthy as possible, and see you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening today. I hope you found it helpful. You may also be interested in the previously published episodes and posts, which you can find at ms-perspektive.com/podcast. Perspective with a K. You can also get a free PDF with 11 tips for your positive impact on MS at ms-perspektive.com/newsletter. If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach me at nele@ms-perspektive.com or on social media. See you next time.